last board. It's this beautiful wood, a minor bend on the metal.
What if someone you've followed for years suddenly starts fading from the spotlight, and something just doesn't feel right? Fans of Homestead Rescue have begun noticing a change in Misty Rainey, the strong and fearless woman who never backed down from a challenge. But now, there are growing concerns and questions no one can ignore. What really happened behind the scenes? And why does it feel like something deeper is going on? Stay with us, because this story reveals a side of Misty that might completely surprise you. The strength behind the smile. Misty Rainey is known as a strong, fearless woman who rose to recognition through the reality TV series Homestead Rescue. On screen, she helps struggling families learn how to survive off the grid, never hesitating to get her hands dirty. That relentless work ethic didn't appear overnight. It was shaped by a life spent in one of the toughest environments in America, the wild terrain of Alaska. Born on November 9, 1979, in Sitka, Alaska, Misty grew up in the adventurous Rainey family. Alongside her father, Marty Rainey, and her brother, Matt Rainey, she became part of a family deeply rooted in homesteading and survival. Marty, a seasoned survivalist, builder, and musician, spent decades living off the grid. Matt followed a similar path, becoming a skilled builder and farmer. Misty, on the other hand, developed her own expertise, teaching families how to survive in the wild while mastering farming, hunting, and sustainable living. As an adult, she became all of these things and more: a farmer, builder, hunter, and even a surfer. Misty also has an older sister, Melanie, and another brother, Miles, both successful in their own paths despite not appearing on the show. When Homestead Rescue first aired in 2016, Misty quickly became a key figure, remaining a consistent presence throughout all 13 seasons. From the very beginning, her role stood out. While Marty focused on large survival builds and Matt handled structural work, Misty transformed chaos into something manageable. Where others saw failure, she saw possibility. Her strength truly showed in her focus on farming and food security. Misty taught families how to grow food in harsh conditions, protect their resources, and prepare for unforgiving winters. Whether it was rebuilding a chicken coop, raising livestock, or preserving food, she made survival feel achievable. Viewers connected with her not just because of her skills, but because of her empathy. She didn't just fix homesteads, she helped people believe they could rebuild their lives. As the seasons went on, Misty became more than a fan favorite. She became a symbol of resilience. Off-screen, her life was just as compelling. She is married to Micaiah Bilodeau, a carpenter and surfer who shares her love for the outdoors. They married on March 7, 2009, and later welcomed their son, Gage, in April 2011. Together, they built a life between Alaska and Hawaii, balancing two completely different worlds. But growing up in Alaska was never easy. The Rainey family lived isolated from modern comforts, facing brutal winters and unpredictable wildlife. For years, they lived without electricity, running water, plumbing, or heat. Every part of life required effort, planning, and resilience. Those conditions shaped Misty into who she is, teaching her independence and strength, but also testing her limits in ways few could understand. Even on Homestead Rescue, challenges never stopped. Harsh weather, failing projects, and families on the edge of giving up were constant obstacles. Yet, Misty's calm determination always stood out. She didn't just repair homes, she rebuilt hope. Still, behind that strength was a side few truly saw. Like many who appear unbreakable, Misty carried her own struggles. And slowly, those hidden challenges began to surface, revealing a more vulnerable side of the woman everyone believed could handle anything. The battles behind her strength. When people watch Misty Rainey on Homestead Rescue, they often see strength first. She's the one who arrives with a calm smile, takes on the hardest tasks, and encourages families who feel like giving up. But strength doesn't mean a life without struggles. Like anyone else, Misty has faced personal battles, ones that aren't always visible on screen. And those hidden challenges remind us that no matter how tough someone appears, they are still human. One of the most talked about struggles in Misty's life has been related to her body shape and weight. Growing up in Alaska, her life revolved around survival, hard work, and family. In that environment, appearance didn't matter nearly as much as capability. What you could do was far more important than how you looked. But stepping into the public eye changed that reality. Suddenly, people weren't just watching her skills, they were judging her appearance too. If you followed the show closely, you may have noticed changes in Misty's appearance from season 1 through season 3. That shift didn't go unnoticed. Some fans began expressing concern about her weight gain, especially considering her family's history with health issues. Speculation quickly followed. A few believed it might be linked to stress eating, while others even assumed she might be pregnant. Misty, however, addressed these rumors in her own grounded way. She explained that changes like this are often part of the homesteading lifestyle. Living off the land requires constant physical effort, and the body naturally adjusts to meet those demands. She pointed out that people in that environment often gain a few pounds because they need energy to keep going. While she didn't give a specific reason for her own weight gain, she mentioned feeling more energetic than usual during filming. At one point, she even joked about pregnancy, which only fueled the speculation, though it eventually proved untrue. Still, that didn't mean the comments didn't affect her. Like many women, Misty has had moments of insecurity about her appearance. The difference is, her journey unfolded in front of thousands of viewers who could easily form quick opinions. Social media, while full of support, also exposed her to criticism from people who didn't hold back. Instead of letting those voices define her, Misty chose to confront them. She spoke openly about her struggles with body image, admitting it wasn't always easy, but she also made it clear that she wouldn't be reduced to numbers on a scale. For her, worth is measured by the work she does, the families she helps, and the love she gives to her own. Beyond appearance, another challenge came from balancing her personal life with the demands of television. Filming Homestead Rescue is far from simple. It involves long days, physically exhausting work, and extended time away from her husband and son. For someone who values family deeply, that separation can be especially difficult. Misty has admitted that the schedule can wear her down. She constantly has to balance being a mother and a wife, while also fulfilling her role as a public figure. It's a struggle many working mothers understand. But in her case, everything happens under the pressure of cameras and public expectations. The need to keep going, to always appear strong, and to never show weakness is something she has had to push through time and time again. Another layer of her struggle comes from the lifestyle she was raised in. Living off the grid can be rewarding, but it's never easy. Even now, Misty continues to face the realities of homesteading: harsh winters, unpredictable weather, and the endless demands of maintaining a self-sufficient life. It's physically exhausting and emotionally draining, with no real breaks. It's a weight she has carried for most of her life. Despite all of this, Misty has never tried to hide the reality. At times, you can see glimpses of her exhaustion or frustration on the show, but instead of weakening her image, those moments make her more relatable. She doesn't pretend that off-grid living is perfect. She shows that it requires sacrifice, effort, and sometimes a heavy emotional cost. Through everything, body shaming, public pressure, and the hardships of her lifestyle, Misty has shown something even more powerful than strength. She has shown vulnerability, and that honesty is what truly connects her to people. Fans don't just admire her because she's tough. They admire her because she's real. She doesn't hide her flaws or pretend her life is perfect. She acknowledges her struggles, and in doing so, she gives others permission to do the same. There's something deeply human about seeing someone you admire admit they're not invincible. Misty may be strong, but she also feels pain, faces doubt, and questions herself at times. Yet, no matter what, she keeps getting back up. She keeps moving forward, and that is the part of her story that resonates the most. Her struggles haven't just shaped her, they've shaped the way she helps others. When she speaks to families on Homestead Rescue who feel like giving up, she's not just offering advice as a builder or farmer. She's speaking from experience, from a place of understanding what it means to feel discouraged or uncertain. That empathy is what makes her guidance so powerful. She meets people where they are, with compassion instead of judgment. Looking at Misty's journey, it becomes clear that struggle is a part of life for everyone. It's not something to hide or be ashamed of. It's something that shapes you, teaches you, and ultimately makes you stronger. Her willingness to be open has not only helped her grow, but has also inspired countless fans who see pieces of their own story in hers. In many ways, her struggles are what make her so relatable. We all face battles, insecurities, and moments that break us. But what matters most is how we respond. Misty's story shows that even in the face of difficulty, you can rise again, keep fighting, and continue moving forward. The good news is that Misty is alive and well. She has taken steps toward a healthier lifestyle and has successfully shed the extra weight she once gained. And despite the changes in her appearance over time, her fans continue to see her the same way they always have, as strong, inspiring, and just as beautiful as the day she first appeared on the show. Inside the world of Homestead Rescue. Homestead Rescue is more than just a reality show. It's a survival journey led by Misty Rainey, alongside his daughter Misty, a skilled farmer, and his son Matt, a hunter and fisherman. Since its debut on the Discovery Channel in 2016, the series has grown into 13 seasons, capturing the harsh reality of off-the-grid living. But what truly defines the concept behind Homestead Rescue? In recent years, the idea of living a simpler, off-grid life has attracted many people. It sounds peaceful, freedom, independence, and a closer connection to nature. However, the truth is far more demanding. Living in remote areas exposes families to extreme weather, limited resources, and constant threats from nature. Many who attempt this lifestyle quickly realize they lack the skills to grow food, secure water, generate power, or protect themselves. That's where the Rainey family steps in. The show's strength lies in its raw portrayal of struggle and survival. Families appear worn out, overwhelmed, and often on the verge of giving up. Their homes are falling apart, food supplies are low, and hope is fading. Then the Raineys arrive, bringing knowledge, structure, and a chance to rebuild not just the homestead, but confidence itself. When Discovery Channel first approached Marty, the family made one thing clear: the show had to remain real. With audiences already skeptical of scripted reality TV, they insisted on authenticity. Filming begins the moment they arrive, with no staged introductions. The Raineys typically spend 10 days with each family, focusing on practical solutions rather than unrealistic transformations. Building an entirely new home in that time isn't possible, so they prioritize what truly matters for survival. Behind the scenes, production is just as intense. Filming can stretch beyond 100 straight days, followed by a tight post-production schedule to meet air dates. Despite the pressure, each episode delivers a powerful outcome. Families must then decide whether to continue their journey or walk away from it all. What keeps viewers hooked is the transformation. Broken systems begin to work again, gardens come back to life, and hope is restored. Still, the show doesn't hide the truth. Homesteading demands time, energy, money, and patience. It's not just a dream, it's a test of endurance. Questions about the show often arise. Do participants get paid? While reality TV salaries vary, the Raineys earn a stable income from the series. Most project costs are covered by Discovery Channel, though the team often reuses materials to reduce expenses. As for authenticity, the show is presented as 100% real, though past controversies have sparked debate. As of 2025, Homestead Rescue continues to expand with spin-offs, like Homestead Rescue, Deconstructed, and Homestead Rescue, Rainey Ranch. Despite occasional setbacks, including a rare failed rescue aired in 2017, the show remains strong. No confirmed deaths have occurred, despite ongoing rumors. So, has the show been canceled? The answer is no. With new episodes like Big Sky Renovation set to release on November 11th, 2025, Homestead Rescue continues to prove one thing. Sometimes, all people need is a second chance to survive and rebuild. When strength began to fade. For years, Misty Rainey stood as a symbol of resilience on Homestead Rescue. No matter how harsh the weather became or how broken a homestead looked, she always found a way forward. She stayed calm when others panicked, worked through exhaustion without complaint, and often became the emotional anchor for families on the verge of giving up. That's exactly why, when quiet concerns about her well-being began to spread, fans felt it deeply. At first, the signs were subtle. Misty started appearing less often on the show. For someone who had been such a consistent presence since 2016, the change didn't go unnoticed. At the same time, her social media went unusually quiet. She had never been overly active online, but she would occasionally share glimpses of her life, moments with family, nature, or her work. Then suddenly, those updates stopped. As new episodes continued to air, viewers began picking up on something else. Misty didn't seem quite like herself. The energy that once defined her felt dimmer. Her laughter, once so natural and frequent, appeared less often. It wasn't dramatic, but it was enough for longtime fans to notice. Slowly, conversations began to build. Across platforms like Reddit, Facebook, and YouTube, one question kept coming up. Where is Misty Rainey? Some believed she was simply taking a break after years of non-stop work. Others worried that something more serious might be going on. Around that same time, blogs and fan pages started echoing the concern, publishing headlines that hinted at something troubling but offered little real information. What made the situation more intense was the silence. There was no official statement from Misty, her family, or the production team behind Homestead Rescue. For a public figure, silence can often speak louder than words, and in this case, it only added to the uncertainty. Fans who knew Misty understood that she valued her privacy. She was never someone who shared every detail of her life. Still, as time passed, that quiet absence began to feel heavier. Speculation naturally followed. Some fans believed she might be dealing with burnout after years of physically demanding work. Others wondered about possible health concerns, though nothing was ever confirmed. What most people agreed on was simple. Misty didn't seem like herself in the limited appearances and clips that surfaced. Eventually, small pieces of insight began to emerge from sources close to the show. While there was no major announcement, it was suggested that Misty had been dealing with exhaustion and needed time to focus on herself and her family. After years of pushing through extreme conditions, both on and off camera, it seemed she had reached a point where stepping back was necessary. For someone like Misty, that decision couldn't have been easy. She had always been the one who fixed problems, not the one who stepped away from them. But reality doesn't spare even the strongest people. Imagine years of working in freezing temperatures, rebuilding homes, guiding families, and carrying the expectation of always being strong. Add to that the pressure of being watched by thousands, and the weight becomes clear. At some point, even resilience needs rest. Fans who had followed her journey from the beginning felt a personal connection to her story. Many shared their thoughts online, expressing both concern and support. Some said she inspired them to believe in their own strength. Others simply hoped she was taking the time she needed to recover. It became clear that Misty's impact reached far beyond television. Then, slowly, small but meaningful signs of her return began to appear. A few shared moments online, a glimpse of her standing beside a mountain, a short clip showing her working again, side by side with her brother. There was no big announcement, no dramatic explanation, just quiet proof that she was finding her way back. Even without words, those moments said a lot. Misty was regaining her balance, at her own pace, and when she appeared again on Homestead Rescue, there was something different. She still carried that same strength, but now there was a deeper calmness, a sense of understanding that hadn't been as visible before. It was as if her struggles had added another layer to who she was. Today, even if her appearances are not as frequent, each one feels more meaningful. She remains an essential part of the show. Her guidance, her presence, and her ability to connect with people still stand out. Off-screen, she continues to live close to nature, building, gardening, and teaching others the life she has always believed in. Misty Rainey's story isn't just about strength anymore. It's about knowing when to pause, when to step back, and when to take care of yourself. Because sometimes, the strongest thing a person can do is admit they need a break and find their way forward again. And that's the story behind Misty Rainey. The strength, the struggles, and the moments she almost couldn't hold together. Behind the fearless image is a real person who faced challenges just like anyone else, and kept going anyway. If her journey inspired you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next story.